We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. The government is convinced that the preparations for the scheduled week-long transport strike have prevented a negative impact on the transportation sector. More commuters, on the other hand, expressed displeasure with the protest, urging the jeepney drivers to return to their job for the benefit of their own families. The details from Marita Moa.
More passengers are expressing frustrations about the ongoing transport strike to oppose the PUV Modernization Act. Former jeepney driver Alfredo Luangco from Montalban, Rizal said he used to drive a traditional jeepney since 1989 but had to retire in 2017 due to advanced cataracts. He said his sons took over his job, applying 3 jeepney units in their area. He said that while he understands his colleagues' pressure in the transport sector, he is concerned that their respective families will be affected soon if they continue to strike. Luangco, who is scheduled for a checkup today, are lined up with other commuters at the Quezon City Circle to avail of the Libreng Sakay program.
Kawawa ang pamilya nun. Katulad yung mga apo ko, walang nakakain niyo kung magtitigil yung mga driver manak ko.
Bumabiyahe pa po sila?
Opo, hanggang ngayon, naka-standby sila. Pero yung iba, bumiyahe. Sabi ko, biyahe kayo. Huwag kayong sumama dyan sa mga rally-rally. Paano bukas? May kakainin kayo ba yung ang anak nyo nag-aaral? Paano po yun?
Other commuters such as Mercedes Arceo, a senior citizen, also expressed disgust with the ongoing transport strike.
Hirapan ng tao sa pagbiyahe kasi wala masakyan di ba? Kambuti na lang may libre sa kay Joy. Kaya nagpapasalamat kami.
Linda Robles, who has a long-term disability, said she is not in favor of phasing out the traditional jeepney, but resorting to a week-long strike will also not benefit the drivers themselves.
Para sa union yan yung presidente ng ng samahan ng mga jeepney. Sabihin niya na mag-strike kayo. Kawawa ng mga driver, anong kakainin ng pamilya? Dapat yun may pagkain siya. Siyempre, swelduhan siya rin May nagpo-protect siya, magpopondo sa kanya na Bibigyan niya ba yun?
For Carmen de la Peña, she said she is not affected with the transport strike because of the Libreng Sakay program.
Wala naman din nangyayari kasi sila rin naman mahihirapan yung mga driver Kasi may mga libreng sakay din naman dito.
In Quezon City alone, about 96 buses have been deployed to assist commuters affected by the transport strike. According to Dexter Cardenas, Chief of the Quezon City Traffic Operations Division, about 90% of the transport sector are in agreement with the government's modernization program, while only 10% are holding their protest. As such, he said the small number of these jeepney units will not significantly affect transportation because their free ride program has covered the usual convergence areas.
Sa ngayon, may mga transport group, katulad ng Piston. Dito sa Quezon City kasi wala namang tao, wala namang grupo yung Manobela. Pero dito yung Piston, traditionally dito kasi may mga Piston na units na may mga prangkisa na katulad ng Balitches to Quiapo, Calao. Meron din tayo sa Anunas, Project 23, Welcome Rotonda, dito sa Cubao, yung papuntang Quiapo. So, hindi man significant yung numero nila, pero ginawa natin, naglibreng sakay tayo, may mga bus from the city, libreng sakay, at meron din tayo mga barangay libreng sakay. From our congressman, meron din mga konsehal. So, ganoon din sa bandang Roosevelt area, meron din tayo mga some units ng Piston na sumali. Pero na-cover up naman ng ating libreng sakay buses and of course yung mga barangay libreng sakay na sasakyan din. So, overall, hindi sa aming palagay, hindi na-paralyze or hindi nagkaroon ng epekto ng mga stranded na mga commuters because of the availability ng ating maraming libreng sakay.
Various LGUs as well as the Philippine National Police and other government agencies have fielded buses and other vehicles for the Libreng Sakay to help stranded commuters. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Marita Muaje.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, has seized at least 592 million pesos worth of illegal drugs in January this year under the Marcos administration's intensified anti-narcotics drive. In its operational assessment report submitted to Malacanang, the agency also reported the arrest of nearly 4,500 drug personalities and the filing of over 7,700 drug cases. PDEA data also showed over 4,200 or 94.6% of arrests were Shabu-related and 240 or 5.3% were marijuana-related. Meanwhile, authorities have intensified surveillance and monitoring of airports, seaports, as well as mail parcel services to prevent the smuggling of illegal drugs and chemicals into the country. Under the PDEA's Barangay Drug Clearing Program, nearly 27,000 barangays or 64.1% in the country have been declared drug-free. The PDEA and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime signed a declaration of cooperation last January. PDEA also said part of its intensified anti-drug campaign is strengthening international cooperation with multiple parties such as the United States, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Malaysia, Australia, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, and the UN. Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Carpio on Monday said classes will still push through as she opposed the week-long transport strike against PUV modernization. In a statement, Duterte called the strike as problematic, saying it will hurt and cause inconvenience to learners and it will harm learning recovery efforts. She said the transport strike interferes in the DepEd's efforts to solve learning gaps and other issues in the education system. However, Duterte said classes will continue despite the transport strike. Earlier, the DepEd said that both in-person and alternative delivery modes of learning will be implemented throughout the transport strike. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, recognized the 82 members of the Philippine Interagency Humanitarian Contingent, or PIAHC, for the aiding of the victims of the magnitude 7.8 earthquake that struck Türkiye a month ago. The team leaders of the PIAHC received the Bakas Parangal Award on behalf of its members. The rescuers from the armed forces were given a Meritorious Service Award and Chief of Staff AFP Commendation Medal and ribbon. The teams were also awarded the Secretary of National Defense Plaque of Merit and Bakas Parangal ng Kabayanihan. The PIAHC also received 4.1 million pesos in monetary incentives from the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR. Defense Secretary and NDRRMC Chair Carlito Galvez Jr. said he is proud that the Philippines readily responded to Turkey's call for help. AFP Chief General Andres Centino thanked the members of the humanitarian contingent for their excellent service. The contingent's medical team served 1,022 patients, while the search and rescue team assisted in operations. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the social media pages of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. Stay tuned for more news updates. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change. Good afternoon, everyone.